Begin. So, hi everyone, and welcome to our open door session. We do these regularly. So we do have some of our regulars here, I can see, John Adams. So thank you for coming back. I'm Alice Roche. I'm the head of operations here at Charity Digital. So what that means is I look after all of our products that we sell, our sales, our customer service, and our e-commerce. I will be your host for today's session. So I thought it would be a good idea to give a bit of background about Charity Digital for those that don't know. I'll keep it brief, but we are actually a charity ourselves, and we help other charities increase their impact by being more digital. So we have two primary charitable activities. We provide access to the software products that charities need at dramatically reduced prices. And we publish content, so that's articles, podcasts, webinars, and events that educate charity professionals and volunteers on how to make better use of digital tools and technology. So we're here today to answer any questions that you may have about the services that we provide, or give you any guidance that you need, and much more. We find that these work really well when people are interactive in the chat and talking to one another. And if you've got any answers that maybe we're not even able to answer, definitely communicate with each other in the chat. Now I've introduced myself, I'm going to pass to my colleagues. You'll see there are 4 of us here today. So I'll pass over to Joel to introduce himself.
Thank you, Alice. Hi, everyone. I'm Joel. I'm Programs Manager here at Charity Digital. Mainly involved with looking after our strategic programs, as well as providing free consultations to anyone who comes to Charity Digital on a variety of topics spanning from their strategy, digital transformation strategy, to cybersecurity, and all in between somewhere as well. On to Liz.
Hello, everyone. I'm Liz, and I am the email marketing manager here. So I provide support for our email clients that use the .digital product, and I'm the longest standing one here. Actually, I had on my LinkedIn, I had a little notice saying that I've been here for 14 years. So happy anniversary to me.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary, Liz.
James, over to you.
Yes, thank you. So hi, I'm James. I'm the e-commerce manager here at Charity Digital. So I'm responsible for our platform called the Charity Digital Exchange, which is where you can access the products that Alice was talking about at a large discount. So I manage the platform, ensure that it's all running smoothly, and just make sure that I connect you and other organizations with new offers or anything new that's coming through from our partners at Texio.
Excellent. Thank you for the introductions, and thank you all for messaging in the chat where you come from. So before we begin, we just want to remind you of a couple of house rules. So the webinar will be recorded. The recording slides and all the supporting resources will be available to you over the next coming days. So do keep an eye on your inbox for that. If you have a question that you would like answered, then please pop it in the chat box. We've received some preemptive questions in advance, so thank you for those that submitted those. We will run through those to begin with, and then we will make our way through the chat box ones. And then once the session ends, you'll be prompted for some feedback. It takes sort of 30 seconds, 60 seconds. We'd love to hear your thoughts on how we're doing, so that we can continue to improve and ensure that we're demonstrating the best impact for you guys. So without further ado, I will begin with the first preemptive question that we had submitted. So we have had a question from Enfield Borough Over 50s Forum. Are there any membership management systems for small charities with 6,000 members?
Okay.
Joel, yeah.
Sorry, get ahead of the ball. Okay. So it wouldn't be a Q&A without our compulsory CRM question, I think, right? So yeah, I think you're looking at CRMs wise there. There's a whole host of CRMs out there, and I'm sure at some point during the call and afterwards, probably link you to some of our articles regarding making the right decision about CRMs. As a starting point, I know Alice will laugh at me at this one. If you're for small organizations, I found one recently, a couple of months ago, which is an offshoot of Zoho, which again is a very popular CRM. It's called Biggin. So it's like Zoho, but a little bit more streamlined. It's streamlined in terms of maybe takes away some of the bells and whistles that you don't need being a smaller organization, but still provides the quality of one of the best CRMs on the market in Zoho. So if you look for Zoho and then go for Biggin, that might be something that you're looking for there. Membership management wise, I don't know if you're looking at if you do sort of like sort of donor collections or anything like that, but another one which we do is called Donor Perfect. We provide some offers on that, so not sure if you do any sort of fundraising collection or anything like that, but that's certainly an alternative to look at as well.
Excellent, thank you, Joel. And the next one is, how do we build a digital and communication strategy?
You want me to jump on that one?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I think as well, we do have some really great articles and resources on this. So James, if you're able to link some of those in the chat, that would be really useful.
Yeah, a great one actually for this one is what we did with the Heritage Digital. It's a document about digital strategy. So I would recommend that one. I know that James is going to pop it in there. Oh, you've done that. Thank you. So it's a really good article. I would recommend it to anybody, sort of about knowing your vision and your mission and evaluating where you currently are, knowing where you want to get to and to measure your success. So the link has been in there and I would recommend it.
Excellent. So the next one, as the owner of the 6 accounts we hold, why am I not the admin? I can't change some of the settings. So I believe that was someone, but they hadn't clarified what that was about. It sounds like it might be about Zoom, but we would need confirmation. Is that person in this webinar?
Yep, Josie's put a hand up actually.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So are you able to clarify what that was about, Josie?
Yes, it was Zoom, because I thought that this is, I don't know why, I thought that this was just about Zoom, the way it was worded in the original email. So yes, it's about Zoom. I get quite frustrated. It was set up for us right at the beginning of COVID, and I was given the task of running it all. So, and I'm the owner, and we have six sort of sub-owners, our rabbi, administrator, and they all set up different things. I own it. I thought I'd set the, the different areas that people could do and see and etc. And then, but some of it says refer to admin. Well, surely I am the admin.
Okay, Joel, are you able to chime in? And don't worry about submitting that question. This is what this is for. Just any questions about our services. So yeah, Joel, are you able to take over that one?
Yeah, at least I can point you in the right direction. So your organization may have purchased a Zoom discount from us before.
Yes.
But just to bring some clarity, we're not providing you with the Zoom subscription, but just a discount code which allows you to get a lower rate with Zoom. So that means anything to do with your subscription itself, you'd be raising via your Zoom console, your main account, and querying who's got the admin access. I can imagine it's confused with 6 different users with various levels.
They can't do anything without my say-so.
Right.
But I can't do anything without somebody called admin.
Okay. So with that, again, with Zoom, they'll be the ones who are managing your account entirely. So there is a chat option with Zoom. You go to the Zoom website, they'll be able to see that overview of your account, maybe give you some idea of the admin. Someone might have entered their name as admin rather than give a name. That does happen. Obviously, I understand you're a bit of a predicament taking over something that sounds like it might have been set up pre your time. Is that right?
Oh, no, I was here, but they found somebody whom they thought was a Zoom expert. 2 or 3 weeks after I'd set it up, and this young person came in and said, "Oh, I know what to do," and never mind. We won't go there. There. I mean, no, I'm the one that accesses Charity Digital and purchases, your excellent stuff that we can use, for ourselves. And I
Sure.
really appreciate it.
That you're very welcome. What may help go in the future, something that's certainly been implemented from our end in the past couple of years is when changes are made or processes are made, you might have like perhaps like an internal system which records certain processes. For example, there's a great piece of software called Guru, which we use, which is great of when you're in an organization which might have turnover, for example, lots of volunteers come for a certain amount of time, processes get lost or changed as charities have turnover. So you might want to look in something like that where you can get everything in one place so that all your instructions are all in one area, so that it can be simply forwarded on to the next volunteer, to the person who takes over your role, etc.
Guru. Okay, made a note.
Shout
Thank
out to
you.
Alice for that one.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Excellent. So pleased we could help. So the next one is, can you recommend any free resources on learning more about Google Analytics? It's a good one. So we should post these in the chat, but I'll let Liz clarify further.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's one that always pops up, and we had this as well in our last Q&A. So yep, James has just posted in the chat there, so all you need to know about Google Analytics, and also a really good article, your questions answered, ask us anything. So yes, I would check those out, and that should be a good pointer for you to go in the right direction.
Excellent. So we move on to the chat questions now. So I have a question on how people are using the Meta portal devices, the Facebook portal devices. So yes, well, that's a hot topic for Charity Digital this week because we received our Meta portals. So I had to carry that back on the train yesterday. It was very heavy. So yeah, annoyingly, they got rid of the Teams functionality in it, so you can't actually use the portals for Teams, but you can for Zoom. So actually it's a really useful if you are dialing someone in and you're having a hybrid meeting. So you're doing a team meeting, you've got to dial someone in, so that's quite useful. It's quite creepy because it zooms on to whoever's talking, which is quite immersive experience with the Meta portals. But James, you're our sort of in-house Meta portal expert. Do you want to talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, it's been quite fun sort of just trying to figure out how we're going to use them. So as Alice said, we actually used it for our team meeting yesterday, and just watching it follow us around the room was quite funny. I know that you can turn that option off if you don't want it to just sort of focus on different people. We've also been exploring using it in our upcoming conference. So you can use it to record videos, I believe, from their photo booth app. So we ourselves may be using them there. It also is quite useful as just sort of like a lectern sort of thing. So you can log into your office.com using your office.com credentials and get your documents up. I know there is an option to have it as an extended screen. I believe that costs $2 a month. But if you don't want to pay that, you can just have it as a standalone screen. And you can also connect it to your WhatsApp. So if you want to use it in a similar way to FaceTime, you can use it there. But yes, we're having a similar exploration going on in the office, trying to figure out how to use them. They also have, some of them also have a really good speaker. So if you need to, I don't know, play video in a meeting or something, it could be a good option for that.
Excellent. And then there is another question from James. Advice on any discounts available for payroll and legacy management systems.
I can take that one. So I've just been having a quick look through the offers that we have. So for Xero, you can get 25% off for a non-profit discount. For QuickBooks, you can get 50% off too. And then we also have a Zoho Creator for non-profits offer. So there's Xero and QuickBooks you'll be able to access from the first link that I post. And then the second one will be the Zoho for Creator offer. So yeah, the first one, just find the links through the article, click on those, and then it should take you to sort of xero.com/nonprofits. So I shall paste those now.
Just to chime in, I actually use Xero on a regular basis, and I'm certainly not an accountancy person, but I can certainly vouch for it for someone who has to use it a lot, send invoices, track payments. It's really, really easy to use. The interface looks great as well. So yeah, thumbs up for me on that one in terms of Xero.
Fab. Well, we'll keep plowing through. So great that we're getting so many questions, by the way. Keep them coming. So from Josephine Caldwell, we've had, can you suggest a template cybersecurity policy for small charities?
Yeah, so sure. So for cybersecurity, well, it might be a bit of a cheat code here, but we actually have some previous articles and webinars on cybersecurity. There was one last week, I think there was, or the week before, sorry. And there's a load of cybersecurity webinars and sort of content just before Christmas as well. One of those I was involved in as well. So go back, have a watch of those. We are partnered, work alongside an organisation called the National Cybersecurity Centre. So their website is fantastic, really great content specifically for micro to medium charities who maybe don't have a dedicated cybersecurity professional in their team, and they just want someone to maybe break down some of the lingo, simplify some of the steps that you need. So yeah, the first step, definitely really go for yourself in the world of National Cybersecurity Centre. Some real basics to keep you going as well. Make sure that your devices are always have the most up-to-date software. So if, for example, you may be working not just on PCs and laptops, which you should always update, but also your phones as well, just to ensure that they receive any security updates. If you can, in fact, and I implore to either enable multi-factor or two-factor authentication, just to avoid just that one password access, just as an extra level of security, which is really great. You may also, you may be on this path already, but make sure you go into the path of obtaining a domain for your organization. So for like a website domain, email domain, it just helps your organization look a little bit more professional, a little bit more approachable as well. So if you're communicating with generic inboxes as well, you won't have the same sort of level of trust as usual as somebody with the professional looking domain. And on the side of that, then you start looking at your actual software. We recommend a sort of a vast antivirus, and some of the add-ons with that is really great for protecting your devices as well. But there's other things outside of there as well. If you're using Microsoft, there's an add-on called Windows Defender. It's included in some subscriptions, but also available as an add-on, and that's really good for sort of email protection. So antivirus is more like endpoint protection. What that means is more protects the device as a whole, but you want to protect your emails. Make sure you sort of maybe filter out suspicious links, and that's when you have some sort of email protection with that, which would be something like Windows Defender, possibly Mail Shell, something like that as well. So yeah, spoke on a little bit there, but I hope you got the main tips there.
Thank you, Joel. So I'm going to go across next to one we get asked all the time, which is, a popular question. Do we have any advice on social media scheduling platforms? Which are the best to use, most cost effective, etc.? One of the biggest challenges, as we know, is having the resource to regularly plan and schedule content. So Liz, do you want to talk a bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, there are platforms out there. I'm probably not the best person to give advice on the best ones. But I know that obviously you can integrate it really well with email marketing platforms, and you can schedule them to go out on a daily or weekly or whatever the message that you want to send out. So you can do it via that way. I don't know, Joel, do you know of any sort of platforms that you can use?
There's a couple. I mean, the recommended one would be Adobe Express, and that has social media included within its subscription. It's very for the world of social media. If I say the word Canva, everyone's light bulb will go off. Everyone knows Canva, so it's the main gist of Adobe Express is it's very similar to Canva, but it does come with social media scheduling. That one would come probably as the recommended one from us. Outside of that, I know I can't remember the name of it, but I know Meta do one as well, but I know it sometimes can struggle when you're trying to plan ahead with your social media. And obviously there's a reason why you want social media scheduling, is so that you can plan well ahead to get that that planned content in, so then you can free your time up for creative and reactive content. So yeah, maybe not so the Meta one as well. I can't remember the name of it, apologize. But yeah, Adobe Express would be one that that we would recommend for that.
Yeah, and I'm sure we've got also lots of content on it. So yeah, we have a content facing site, and then we have our transactional site where we sell our products. And yeah, there are just hundreds and thousands of articles that are really, really helpful. So I will try and dig some out on social media scheduling tools, and we can circulate those in the resources, Kirsty, if that's helpful.
Just to add on quickly before we move on, I've pasted the link. Joel mentioned Adobe Exchange, so I've pasted the link there. Any organisation should be able to access that for free. So it's normally £99 per person, and organisations can get free access up to 10 devices through Charity Digital Exchange. So if you're looking for a way to play around with social media scheduling, just request it through us, and then you should be able to get set up, and it's a good starting point, I think.
Absolutely. And yeah, as David said, it's yeah, the interweb is brilliant for comparatives on those kinds of things. Every time I go to look at software for our organisation at Charity Digital, so I think since I started, I've implemented live chat, an electronic software for answering tickets and emails, and also a knowledge base. So I just went to market, had a look, compared, and also thought about the functionality I needed first before I started in demos and getting demos from people. But most organizations offer free trials as well. But yeah, definitely explore Adobe Express through our system. Okay, so moving on, we've got so many. This is great. Hannah has said, do you have any tech suggestions for logging staff time on different projects? Also, anything for a one-stop shop for staff wellbeing, process training, holidays, and onboarding?
I'll say part one. I might leave part two to you, actually, Alice. You might have some experience on that. But part one of that, Asana, I think, is ringing a bell with that in terms of management.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. This is a very,
yeah,
very popular topic in our leadership team at the moment. So
really?
Asana doesn't time track.
Oh, does it not? Oh.
So you want a piece of software called Hub Staff. Yeah, so we can link to that. I don't know what their offers are on not-for-profits or charities. We'll be finding out ourselves, but at the moment in Charity Digital, we're trying to do some sort of cost time analysis of finding out where our time is going and how much time is being spent on certain projects for our grants, etc. So yeah, we're investigating a tool called Hub Staff, but Asana won't do that, unfortunately. Regarding your wellbeing, process training, holidays and onboarding, so that's quite a lot to expect one system to do. I only say that because we have to use multiple to do that. So we use a system called Guru, which Joel touched on briefly before, which I introduced in my first, I think, month at Charity Digital, which is a knowledge base system that offers 50% for not-for-profits, by the way. So yeah, it's just an electronic knowledge base, and it's really, really brilliant because you can just have all of the information about your organization. We know ourselves that, in charities, the staff turnover can be, quite fast. So it's really, really good to just get everything down on paper so that when you're onboarding a new person, they can look at all of the processes in one place. That doesn't obviously answer necessarily holidays and well-being, but we can certainly look around and do some research on that for you, Hannah, if that's helpful. But again, a good old Google would be good. But yeah, Hub Staff and Guru, definitely investigate, and I'll put my email as well, so feel free to follow up with me afterwards. So the next one. So any examples of where people have used dual systems, i.e. 2 CRMs, one for service delivery and one for finance focused? What are the successes and pitfalls of this approach? That's a very good question.
I mean, it's hard to talk about, success stories. We're an organization that uses multiple systems for different reasons. Some out of choice, some out of necessity.
I would actually say that most of my mail clients are using dual systems as well.
Oh, okay.
From what I know from the conversations that I've had, the pitfalls, obviously, it's not in one place.
Mm-hmm.
You're managing 2 systems, which is far more complicated than one.
I think I'd be interested in what the finance focuses were. So you'll find with some CRMs, there's the financial for pipeline building and some light touch financial sort of tracking. But I think I would be curious as to what the financial focus is that you would want the system to be doing. And yeah, I'm not sure one system would be best. The pitfalls, like Liz said, is obvious, obviously tracking 2 systems, but sometimes it has to be done, right? Because not every system can do everything. So we certainly are probably guilty of using one too many electronic systems. Joel has a saying internally that we're like Clapham Junction with how many platforms we use. So London station reference there. So yeah, I'm sorry, Barbara, if that wasn't particularly helpful. But again, we'll have a little bit of a think. Like we said earlier, we will be sharing the resources, so we'll be writing the answers to all of these questions as well and circulating them afterwards. So
sorry, just to add on to it, I guess up front, similar to what Alice was saying about when she's researched all these different platforms, you can see if any of them integrate together. So you may like features from different ones, and then hopefully you can get them talking to each other so that they can sort of feed into each other. But yeah, as has been mentioned, a lot of them, we like us, for example, we like certain aspects of each one. So that's why we use the multiple ones. But it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of seeing if we can migrate different things across and then use maybe one less. So it's just sort of a constant assessment and seeing if there are any new features that come out, because all these platforms release new things all the time as well.
Yeah,
James
exactly.
I was going to say, James, I think the big important word there, or may not be so important, but to me it is integration. I know that when we look for platforms, and I know Alice does this as well, and all of us, is how can a platform, how well does it integrate with things that we already have? Is that important to your organization? Are you looking for integration or completely looking to start again? So when you draw up a list, and if you do need dual systems, can they integrate?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think David Adams, our honorary Charity Digital member at this point, who helps us out so much in the chat, has just put a very useful comment as well. And also there was something earlier about Microsoft 365 Teams has an app that schedules staff timetables and allows you to clock in and out, which I didn't know. So that's very interesting because we're looking at hub staff, like I mentioned. Okay, excellent. Let's keep going. So are there going to be cheaper licenses for Adobe and Dropbox available for our next renewal? So this is a question from Josephine. Are there going to be cheaper licenses for Adobe and Dropbox available for our next renewal?
Yeah, well, we need to know what Adobe licenses they are. If you're on renewals, I imagine that you're on some sort of cloud subscription plan, so maybe Adobe Creative Cloud, something like that. I'm not sure if you've been paying full rate to Adobe. We provide an access of 60% off Adobe's current rates for the first year on an individual all apps plan, and then it'll be 40% for that same plan every year after. So it's like a £4 admin fee to access the discount, and then I think once you receive the 60% discount with Adobe, it's around £21 per user per month. If I'm talking about Creative Cloud here, I'm not sure if there's a specific Adobe plan.
It is Creative Cloud.
Oh, great. Okay, excellent. Thanks for that. So yeah, we provide probably one of the biggest discounts in the market I can think of, unless I'm not sure of anything else, unless there's some sort of educational side of things. But yeah, come to us for the 60% discount. One point to remember if you do get that discount is that sometimes the Adobe platform is a bit funny of adding a discount to an existing account. So if you do purchase that discount from us, we'd recommend, to avoid any sort of delay, if you can try and create a new Adobe ID, just so that it can ensure that it can add that 60% discount upon your checkout with them. So that's how I recommend that. Again, with Dropbox, we do provide access to discounted rates. Again, that's on our Exchange catalog, which we can link in the chat, and our follow-up article, of course, as well. I'm not sure what you're currently paying for Dropbox, but we do certainly provide access to discounted rates for that.
Excellent. Okay. So the next one. Looking for suggestions to help teams to understand all the aspects of their role are digital. What level of repeat training to teams to ensure all staff are fully aware on the digital security aspects of their roles, thinking around how you embed something when people aren't using it every day versus everyday things they are using, so email, passwords, that they don't connect as being part of their digital work responsibilities? That's an interesting one. So,
I mean, it's a bit of repetition here. I mean, the first thing that's coming to my head was this knowledge at parts of the job role which maybe aren't handled on a day-to-day basis, but need to be referred to every now and again. And Guru comes to mind on that again. To be honest, extract all those processes from people's heads and get it in this one amazing database where people can revisit for those parts of their role which isn't a day-to-day. That's maybe I understood partly of the question of that, but
yeah, I think that is part of it. And I mean, yeah, we're pushing stuff where we don't even sell. I just really believe in Guru as a system, and I love it. So I definitely think that for your internal processes, for when people don't do this job every day. But I think there's a wider conversation and question that is around helping people to understand the importance of digital, which we have many resources on our content site, and also we do an annual conference every year which is called the Be More Digital Conference, and we have, you know, guest speakers, and it's a really brilliant day of really trying to understand the importance of digital within your organization and how to accelerate your digital strategy. So we will, James, come up with some resources and circulate those as well. Hope that's helpful, Barbara. Okay, I will move on. So I think I have one for Liz. So MailChimp have recently increased their prices and we're looking for an alternative. How easy is it to migrate data and template over to the .digital email marketing platform? So obviously Liz looks after our .digital mail marketing platform. How easy is that migration of data?
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Alice. They have recently increased their prices, and we've had a lot more sort of people looking around for alternative products as well. It is really easy. All you have to do is download the data from your MailChimp account, and then you just upload it into .digital. And then with regards to your templates, .digital don't, well, they do allow, you can upload a template, but it doesn't really work that well. But because the Easy Editor is so user-friendly, you can just create a new template based on what you had, or maybe it's an opportunity to actually spruce it up a bit and, you know, have a better template than what you had before, and you can just create a new template. What we do provide as well with the support, lots of people have come over from MailChimp and have actually helped them with that process. So I've held their hand just to download it, upload it all, so all the data fields match. They're not losing any of their history, especially for the GDPR, that's important. and help to create their templates as well. But it is an easy process.
Excellent. And David has also written the instructions of exporting to CSV and importing, which is useful. So I think we have another one as well. Clearly someone interested in the .digital platform. We send out alerts SMS on a daily basis. How does that work within the .digital platform?
Yeah, .digital actually gives you the opportunity to have that feature as an add-on. So if you come through us, it's not necessarily sort of in the package, but you can pay for that. And there is a monthly license fee that's discounted for charities, and then you just buy your credits, and it's on a pay-as-you-go basis. Yeah, and we've got quite a few clients using that as well, and it seems to work quite well.
Excellent. I think there was a question for you in the chat, Liz, saying, what did you say, Liz? Sport, question mark.
Sorry, I don't know whether I was quite clear with what I said. Not too sure.
No, I think this was the question before. Yes.
With the MailChimp question?
Yeah, so we're migrating from MailChimp, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mention the word sport. I hope I didn't.
It sounded like that. That's
sorry, that's probably me speaking a little bit too fast. No, there's no sport included with that, but it is.
No. It was the name of something you could migrate MailChimp to.
Export?
Or support?
Oh, support.
I think that's Liz providing support.
Oh, I
see. That's the support that we do.
I lost the plot, obviously.
So okay. if you use the .digital product through us, then we provide tailored support, and we will sort of have a chat with you and see what your requirements are, what your needs are, and if you are coming over from MailChimp, then we will help you with what you need to migrate over with.
Excellent. Liz will not be performing sport for us.
Well, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
So I think we are nearing the end. We've had one from Yuande just now. So how do we get the code for the 20% discounted rate for the conference? Yes, so that's an offer that's been going on. Is this just for this Q&A, James? 20% discount code?
It is, yes.
Yeah, so we've got our, as I touched on a moment ago, our annual Be More Digital conference, which is held in London, and it's a really fantastic day. And we were offering just today only, I think, if you turned up to this webinar, a 20% discount code. So yeah, if you could post in the chat how to get access to that. Oh, you already have. It's quite simple, really. 20 off BMD. Excellent. And we will all be there, so you will get to meet the stars of Charity Digital in person. So, be too excited. Okay, so the next question. Do Charity Digital use Teams? We are trying to decide between Teams and Zoom as to what is the best option for our charity.
I think we're a bit divided on that in our charity, aren't we?
We're quite divided as an organisation. Yes, very true.
We use both.
We do. Yeah, we do use both, and it comes down to preference. I mean, both have, features which are great for everyone. I mean, for example, I'm not sure about it. I mean, in terms of usage wise, I do like Teams for like smaller calls, but I really like Zoom for larger meetings and webinars. Both, I guess one good feature about Teams is that if you're using any Microsoft 365 non-profit products, it's included in pretty much all the subscriptions there within your typical Office apps. So that's one good feature of it, rather than having to spend an extra outlay on something different there. Then Zoom, we provide a 50% discount access code as well. So either way, we're still undecided, but yeah, it's choose your poison.
I think for me it's sort of more internal or external. So Zoom works so much better if I'm having external chats with clients, but internally Teams is way far superior. That's for me.
And then we've got the dreaded Slack that we sometimes use with our partners. So that gets confusing. And then you get invited to a meeting externally that's Google Meet.
I was going to say Google Meet.
Oh,
Oh,
Google
goodness
Meet,
me.
Then you've got Google Meet, and then there's this other one of our partners uses I've not even heard of, but my laptop just doesn't have it. Does not want to play ball. Excellent. So do you have, this is a good one, do you have long-term cybersecurity options available? Due to staff turnover, we seem to go for a period of time without any antivirus and threat being attacked.
Yeah, our main option for long-term, so I think I know where you're coming from there, where someone purchases it, then they might have left, and then your antivirus runs out. There's an offer on Avast on our catalogue where you can actually purchase antivirus or content filtering, one of the add-ons, for the option of either 12, 24 or 36 months. And the longer you take it out, the higher the discount. So if you are a charity with maybe has a turnover of volunteers and you need that cybersecurity, you could take out the 36-month one, make a saving on it as well, and at least there's your protection in place for a few years. I'd probably recommend trying to put in a calendar invite for that as well, just in case, just because it's 3 years. But yeah, that would be our option if, for long term.
Excellent. And then we've had, our organisation isn't a charity, but we do provide services to the non-for-profit sector. Can we apply for the Charity Digital Exchange? So this is a question we get all the time. So in case we hadn't clarified earlier, which perhaps we should have a bit better, we are able to provide the discounted and donated software through our partners in America called TechSoup. So we are the distributor of that software in the UK, the only distributor. What that means is all the wonderful people that allow us to resell their software, like Microsoft and Adobe, etc. They have their own sets of eligibility criteria for not-for-profits to meet before they can access the offers. So unfortunately, KICS and social enterprises and CASCs don't have access to all of the offers. However, they do for the Digital Mail marketing platform. They do for our antivirus Avast, and they do for some other offers as well. But it's something that we are constantly communicating that is a real pain point back to our partners that we have unfortunately no control over. But we often, say to them that it's really unfair. So yes, so we do provide some, but get in touch with us at the email address provided, or pop your email address in the chat, and we will happy to talk further about any that you are entitled to. I was looking at DocuSign offers as we send a lot of PDFs. The pricing is great, but it seems to be restricted to 100 sends. No matter how careful we are, I think we would need more than this. Is there a way to extend the limit?
This came up for me a little while back. So yes, I don't, for the main offer where you get the 100, if you wanted more sends than that on that one subscription, you'd have to go to DocuSign directly, and I'm not sure if they provide perhaps a non-profit discount for that. But the sidebar to that, to avoid that, is that organizations can purchase up to 5 DocuSign sort of products per US fiscal year. So that's 5 times 100. You would just need to sign up on a slightly different email account to use them. So yeah, that's probably the best way to still take advantage of that discount while still getting as many cents as possible.
Excellent. Just me in the chat being chatty to everyone, just saying goodbye to anyone that needs to drop off. So we have also had a question from Tony Watts asking, do you have any software that allows us to manage the membership data and where members pay subscriptions? Well, that's a head scratcher.
Can you hear me, Alice?
Yes, yeah, Tony, I can hear you.
we have a charity which has 6,000 members subscribe, and they subscribe, and we need to keep all their records, their payments, and manage gift aid. Is there any software around that will allow us to do this? Currently we use Zoho, but it's fairly complex, and it does require, it's quite costly for us. So, you know, it's really, are there any other solutions out there that will allow us to manage that sort of our data, you know, which is all their information, addresses and so on. And, you know, we'd be able to publish newsletters, and you have to get mail these out. So that's all done through the Zoho database that we have at the moment. But I am looking for an alternative that would perhaps be a bit.
Okay. It sounds like there might be some sort of donation collection with that as well. So you might want to look at Donor Perfect as an alternative. That's on our catalogue. If you're looking for something outside of the Zoho. Yeah, I would say if it based on, you know, if you're looking outside of Zoho and there's donations and collections with that, you might want to look at Donor Perfect. That's a platform that's designed for that specifically.
Oh, thanks. I'll look into that. Thank you.
I just off the back of that, Joel, if you're sort of separating it out from the donor aspect, you did mention that your mailing, would that be snail mail or would that be emailing? Because the .digital would work well if you're emailing as well. It's sort of like a mini CRM, so you can upload all of your contacts into there, and then you can split them out into different lists, or you can segment them out according to sort of what you have, the categories that you have for them.
We use Sending Blue for our mail out.
Okay, and how do you find sort of the data aspect on that? Is it easy to filter?
It's easy to import new email addresses, straightforward.
Okay, yeah, I'm not really familiar with that platform, but I do obviously know more of the .digital one, and I know that lots of small charities and even medium-sized ones do use it as sort of a mini storage place for the contacts, because they can easily filter people into different lists and just keep it there. I don't know whether that's of help or not.
No, I'll look into the Donor Perfect and
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, we'll also do some research as well, and when we circulate the resources, Tony, we'll send hopefully some helpful resources about that. David Adams is quiet, so we must have stumped him, and even he doesn't have a recommendation for us. Oh no, is it in the chat?
In the chat. Oh, yeah, David wouldn't let us down on this one.
Yeah.
No way.
Good. Okay. Is there anyone who's submitted a question that we've missed? Just because there have been so many, I think we've done them all, but I don't want to have missed any. So do raise your hands or pop it in the chat if there are any more. No, I don't think I can see any hands raised. Well, that's brilliant. We've had so many questions. So yeah, just so everybody is aware, you know, if you go onto the next slide, it should have our email addresses. Yeah, so if you are interested in learning more about any of the products we offer, but equally, you know, the events and the free training sessions that we run, because we provide training to the charity sector as well through grant funded activity. So those are free. So if you're interested in learning about any of that, then please come through to customerservice@charitydigital.org.uk, and then the Charity Digital Mail support is the .digital mail marketing platform we've been speaking about. So if you'd like to speak to Liz a little bit more about that or marketing tools, then definitely do. And I will also pop my email address in, I think there were some questions around time tracking software and various other sort of leadership questions. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to some of you. And of course, we do have our conference coming up, I think on the 9th of March. So that's a few weeks away. So yeah, do investigate and go onto our website if you're interested in. Oh, thank you, Josie. I really hope people are understanding a little bit more about what we do, and I hope that you got some value out of it. We'd love to hear from you how you think it went. You know, feel free to be honest if I talk too much. But yeah, just let us know, because we're constantly trying to improve the way we, our services and how we touch base with you guys. Thank you to everyone